Okay, welcome back to Circle Jerk America, Gulf of America. I'm Griffin, reunited with good politic guy Mac. How you doing?
That's right. I'm here. We're doing this.
We've had an incredible week. Now, the first week of any Trump presidency, it's always a week. It was a week last time. It's a week this time. 7 days.
It was like a day. It was like a day, 2 days.
Yeah, it feels like 7. Has it been like 2? Yeah. I do remember it being similar back in 2016. There was, but also very different in so many ways. But I want to start with the inauguration. Us both being CIA operatives,
right,
that were kind of sent to infiltrate the podcasting industry.
Mm-hmm.
And me went to a few parties around the inauguration, and I just wanted to get your take on all that. What was your experience like?
It was magical, dude. It was magical. I got to see up close and personal the Beanie Man himself. Fem Shapiro was a huge one for me. I don't know if that was as big for you as it was for me, but that was huge.
Because that's more your kind. The Zoomer.
Yeah, right.
Is she Zoomer? I bet she's millennial. I bet if I were to check her papers.
I think she's young. I think she's probably Gen Z. I think she's probably around my age, like 25 something, if I had to guess. But okay. We also got in with the PBD. He's gigantic. The aura was incredible. Yeah. Huge, towering figure, and we can only hope to emulate him as much as humanly possible.
He was large and in charge, and I guess my takeaway was that everyone is exactly who they are on camera. That it's like, people are like, oh, you don't really know someone if they're a podcaster or whatever, and it's like you kind of do, because like none of these people are like, I don't think anyone's good enough at acting to be on camera hours every day, like doing a shtick. And so, my first thought was these people are all exactly who they are on camera, and that there was a sense of fear. There was a sense of tension. Not
a little uneasy, but
well, they felt uneasy. Everyone felt uneasy. Everyone felt uncertain when I thought it was going to be a celebration, a victory. But there was an air of uncertainty. And it also made me think, I was like, these are the guys that are beating everyone? Like, these guys? This was a beatable crop of people, even though they're all fucking insanely massive. So yeah, that was sick. I mean, I got to shout back out to our top 2 guys that we met. The Cole brothers.
Oh, yes.
Cole Great Again brothers.
I spotted the hats, and immediately I looked at it. We saw the red caps. And I thought, okay, maybe these are just some MAGA guys. They're flaunting it, whatever. And then I look, and you see this text here. No, it's not Make America Great Again. It's Make Cole Great Again.
It's Make Cole Great Again.
And
America's great. We have to move on to new.
No. We don't. Fuck America, dude. We don't even need to discuss America. It's only Cole.
I agree.
It's only Cole.
America.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, those are the guys, we didn't really want to bother too many people. I was like, those are the guys we got to talk to. We talked to them. They turned out to be from South Africa.
And then a guy who said he was German, but I don't believe that he was German.
Yeah. Why don't you think he was German?
His accent was fully, it was either South African or Australian or something. It was not a German accent. So I think he was also South African, maybe a little bit of a questionable backstory there. And,
there is like nothing more sinister than a mysterious European. A European that you can't pin down and be like, I know where you're from on the map. Yeah, that's the kind of guy he was. And they loved coal. And they told us all about how coal was the number 1 energy resource in the world. And then you asked, well, how much is in the U.S.? And they're like, oh, I don't know.
I think they said like 20%, 25% or something like that.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
But so they were sick because they instantly hooked us up with everybody else. They were like, meet these guys. They're like, yo, YouTubers, right? You got the $1 million plaque. You got the 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
That is the new cachet. 1 million subscribers.
That was one of the first questions they asked was, do you have the plaque?
If you have the plaque, then you can get in pretty much anywhere. You can walk into the White House uninvited at this point because you have the YouTube plaque. Who will be the first president to add a YouTube plaque in the Oval Office? Who will be the first one? Will it be Trump? Trump could get the gold plaque.
Trump could easily get the plaque. If he wanted the plaque, he could get the plaque.
That's right.
I'm trying to think about, is there anybody who's like insurgent who might work their way into the White House from media instead of the other way around, right? Like, could Candace Owens get herself into the White House? Could Shapiro or Charlie Kirk or something? Yeah. They'd be throwing the plaques up.
That will be the final day where YouTube has finally won once they get in the Oval Office.
Right.
But, you know, it has been a crazy week. I don't know what it's like for, you know, with the inauguration stuff from people that you know, but from people that I know, they are having a meltdown. It is like meltdown May. I remember in 2016 this same level of posting or whatever. But everyone for this one really showed up out of nowhere to do it again. Cause like everyone had been beaten down by pretending to ignore the genocide, by pretending it wasn't happening, and just, you know, not talking about politics for a little while, taking a little break. But everyone I know is like coming back in full force. I got guys in their like late 30s doing like TikToks being like, President Dump, you're done. You're over, President Dump. So wow, they said the resistance wasn't coming back, but in Los Angeles, I think it is.
There's a little bit of that going on. I see it on my TikTok feed. There's been a lot of energy around the sort of like conspiracy angle of a lot of these things, like post-election, as you had Democratic politicians who were like, no, we're going to be the big guys here. Like, the election was fair. It was secure. At the same time, on my TikTok feed, at least, I had like full-blown election denialism, liberal wannabe January 6 types who were really leaning into that.
Gosh.
Now we got my favorite guy on TikTok now. He starts off all of his videos with the big news. Big news. Oh boy.
You're busting your mic doing that impression. Can you turn it down just a little bit on your game? Just a skosh. Just bring it down a skosh because I want you to do big news. His name is like Arnold or something, right? And he's got like a kind of like a sort of like who's the guy who's like the servant to the count in cartoons? He's like the hunchback guy. Isn't it servant to Dracula or whatever? Kind of has like a fucked up servant to Dracula kind of style face.
No, he's great.
He knows and he owns
He's my favorite. So he's coming back in a strong way.
Okay.
There's a couple others there. I mean, there's a little bit, they're sort of like, they're a little discombobulated right now. Yeah. I don't think that they figured out exactly what kind of angle.
Where to go.
Because here's the thing. A lot of these liberals spent the last, 6 months of the Biden and the Kamala campaigns and even the last couple of years trying to justify their spin to the right on a couple different issues.
Sure.
So it's a little hard to like recharge the resistance energy to a lot of different topics that you guys were sort of leaning in on the right for. So it's like, okay, well, where do we go from here? You're going to do a full blown hysteria over things you were just justifying Biden and Kamala supporting. So
yeah, it's a brand crisis, which we hate to see. We hate to see a brand crisis because, at this point, for me, I got no skin in the game on either side. They're both insane, but the Democrats, they do have a brand crisis. They need to get some people in there to mix it up. But I mean, the answer to me, or at least what it seems like from what Democrats have been doing in the last week, is that this is like not just like a little diet Republican, but just like Republican. I mean, we have a few things like the Lake and Riley Act. I think they had like 46 Democrats vote for that like immigration thing, including Mr. John Ossoff. He voted his Ossoff.
Both my senators, both of them, John and Warnock as well.
Yeah, you called them to ask for it.
I begged him. That's why I voted for him.
Yeah, you were like, I don't want any taco trucks. I don't want any. Right. I don't want any good food anymore. I want my chicken nuggets to cost $300, sir. So yeah, the Democrats seem to kind of just be like going with the flow. There doesn't seem to be the resistance, but man, this fucking Elon salute seemed to like piss people off more than anything Trump's doing. Like, it's like people aren't even just really mad at Trump right now. Like, they're just mad at Elon for this fucking salute.
Well, to be fair, he's kind of the vice president right now. I'm seeing more energy. I'm seeing more power flexing from Elon than I am from JD Vance for sure.
JD, you need to, I mean, I think JD's smart. I think he feels like Elon will burn himself out in some way. And so JD's like, why do I even gotta mix it in? This guy's going to take care of himself. So that's like my take on it. But yeah, people are so pissed, about this Nazi salute, which like, and it got me thinking because everyone's debating. Did it happen? Did he mean to do it? All that stuff. The first layer was he's autistic, and when that lasted like a day, and then people were like, I guess he's also a genius, so we have to hold him at his word or whatever. But I thought that like the answer did kind of like lie in a weird new middle, because like there are new types of Nazis out here that aren't like a specific, like, for me, like a 1-to-1 to like World War II Nazis.
Yeah.
Like Elon probably is a Nazi, but like not in the traditional way, because there's a new like edgelord ironic type of Nazi that like wants to do Nazi stuff, but like in a new way that's kind of just centered all around like them.
Yeah.
So I think that like when people are like struggling to, and when liberals and people on the left are like trying to tell normal people that this is really bad or whatever, I do think it's like normal people, it's a mix. A lot of normal people just see it and are like, no, fuck that. So I guess, I don't know. It's just a difficult new type. And it's like, is Nazi the right word for it at this point?
Well, he's just a fascist. I mean, it's like,
people don't know what that is. Like, people can't even spell that. Like, maybe there needs to be a new word. Maybe we just call it like Elon or whatever.
I mean, it is kind of like his own unique brand of fascism. It's like this tech bro fascism that he sort of roped himself into, but I don't care about the Nazi label for him, like directly, because then, again, like you were saying, like people think like, oh, if he's not wearing like a Nazi armband with a swastika on it, then you can't call him a Nazi. And it's like, okay,
Benjamin
fine.
Netanyahu gave him the clear.
Right.
Mr. New Hitler said he's not a Nazi.
Exactly. So he's good.
Mr. New Hitler would know.
Right. So he's good. He's good. If you're pro-Israel, you cannot be a Nazi. Definitionally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think that's like kind of the main outrage that's happening right now. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of new outrages. But yeah, like the resistance, man, those guys they're not in the streets. They're posting a lot. And I am really curious to see how long that lasts. What's the shelf life on this?
Well, I'm noticing too that it's not as top down as it was before. And I think that's where we're not seeing a lot of the energy is you don't have the same, rallying around the flag for Democrats against Trump as you did in 2016, 2017. You see a lot of like mainstream media figures and political figures who are sort of like falling in line on a couple of these key issues. So it's more like, I think that's why they're all confused and all over the place broadly, is because you don't have the top down pressure coming as a form of resistance. Now it's like, okay, half these Democrats are sort of falling in line on immigration and whatever else the case may be. So yeah, falling in line, and I guess just like giving up. They're not just quiet quitting. They're loudly giving up. They're screaming. They folded.
Yeah, they folded. So we'll have to see. And I think I'm learning to not stress out about any of that, not worry about it too much anymore, and just just kind of chill and learn to have fun and try to find joy in life, because you're certainly not going to find it in American politics. Maybe I'll just like go to Mexico. Like that sounds great at this point, right?
Well, we're about to launch a war in Mexico, so I don't know, man.
We're gonna get so swept, dude.
You need to go join one of the drug cartels, and they'll give you some protection, and we'll be.
How would we even do that with like boots on the ground without getting absolutely swept?
It's not boots on the ground. It's in reality, like what they would actually do is probably like
drones.
It would be fucking insane, but they might actually do that. But yeah, I think more like drones, surveillance, maybe like some death squad action or something like that.
Sure.
It's not going to be boots on the ground though, because then we got to do then we got to declare war and we got to do all this other bullshit. But
dude, it would be crazy for them to go to war against Mexico right now. I don't know. I don't think.
When we should be invading Canada in reality.
we're directionally wrong, but we're aspirational. Right. And we are taking over large parts of the land. I mean, should we take over Greenland? Is that valuable at this point? And Denmark owns it? Is that what the deal is?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they there's some degree of there's some degree of like independence there or something, but they're like their sort of proxy owner, I guess, to some extent, like their sponsor kind of thing.
I feel like once we get it, we won't want it. We'll be like, can someone else actually take this?
Well, the best part about that is like you have so many conservatives who are insisting why would anybody not want to be an American? Like, why would you not want to join the US if you had the opportunity? And it's like, these motherfuckers in Greenland have free healthcare. They got free higher education. Like, they're set. They got a good setup right now.
I didn't even know they had schools there. Congratulations, guys.
I mean, I don't know exactly what the situation in Greenland is. I don't know how many people live there or what sort of infrastructure they have, but like, it's got to be better.
There. Half of them are teachers.
And it's still got to be better than under the US umbrella, for sure.
That's true. Maybe we could learn from Greenland by absorbing them. Kind of like when Cell absorbs androids to gain their powers.
Right, exactly.
So that's that. I mean, other things that have been getting up to this week. I mean, while we kind of were still mentioning Elon earlier, there seems to be all this drama between Elon and Mr. Sam Altman. And that's the AI guy. He's like the head of AI, OpenAI or whatever. Yep. And Elon and him have been going bar for bar back on Incel Twitter owns. And I guess let them fight. I kind of like this. This is kind of fun. It's nice to see. It's nice to see billionaires attacking each other. Checking each other. What's your feeling on all this?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm more like the tech dystopia that's being funneled down the pipeline right now is just so beyond disturbing to me. It's hard to like wrap your mind around what's actually happening. But Elon, anytime Elon's getting into a spat with another tech bro, oligarch kind of figure, I'm in favor of it. I think it's great. I think it's there's a little bit of entertainment factor in there, but at the same time, it's kind of like pretend fighting. Like, are they really fighting each other? Do they, like, is this kind of a show that's going on here?
Let's draw blood. Let's get
it really into action here.
A pool cue in half and see who leaves the room.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you are most likely right that a certain majority of this is meaningless or whatever, but it was all wrapped around this $500 billion AI infrastructure thing, which is billed as like the next Manhattan Project. But if it was all privately owned, which I kind of love, it's kind of beautiful in a way.
Well, and Elon's saying it's fake. He's saying they don't really have the funding. It's not real. The money. It's not happening. They're broke boys.
But I'm confused. Who doesn't have the money then? The government doesn't have the money?
No, it's like a bunch of different companies. You have like this Saudi company or whatever that's getting involved in it. So they have the money, but the question is like, is Elon right? Like, do they actually have the funding to do like a $500 billion investment? And then it's also like, what is the end stage of this entire process? Like, we're going to let a couple of guys, including like Saudi investors, Sam Altman, Ellison, whoever else, and they're just going to own all of the AI infrastructure in the US. Like, that's where we're going right now.
Yeah. Well, it's easy then, because then it's like, then you only have to get rid of a few people. If there's only a few villains, you don't want to do what you did with the healthcare system, which is create a whole bunch of villains, just a bunch of guys. You want 3 or 4 guys, head of the snake type deal, I think.
Okay.
And then you can get them all. They're probably all going to be in the same room a lot. So, there's a lot easier.
So you're sort of like you're like a tech oligarch accelerationist.
I think so. I think it'll be easier to destroy them because there's only going to be 3 or 4 of them or whatever. But maybe not. Maybe the robots will just get that good that quick. I mean, with all of these tech guys, it's always been for all of my life. I mean, when they were fucking promising the fucking iPhone or whatever, like big promises, world changing. I mean, the iPod went from black and white to having like color photos, and people are like, the whole world is changing and over. And so it's like, I've always been a little suspicious of that, a little bit like, okay, like I'll see it when it happens. And I still kind of feel that way with some of this stuff, because most of this stuff is still theoretical. They say it's all happening next year, but like, I haven't seen the robots yet. Maybe they're hiding all of the robots that are going to replace every physical person in like 2 years. But that's like a lot of robots to hide. So I'm not sure if it's really going to fully happen, but it seems like no matter what, yeah, these guys are about to get like super, super rich, like super fucking caked up.
Yeah. Well, so it's both of those things, I think. I think you're right that like there's a lot of over exaggerated hype that's going on right now because they all want to bump up their stock value. They all want to get the capital investments that they need right now to juice their shit and to, it's sort of like an arms race that's going on right now. So I think a lot of it is like somewhat artificial that, you know, like, okay, you guys are lying about some of the shit. Like, who was it? Ellison or one of these other tech bros who was sort of like, oh, we're going to be curing cancer in the next couple of years with AI. We're going to have cancer vaccines or whatever. It's like, okay, come on. That's not really on the horizon. But at the same time,
you might be curing like P. Diddy's cancer or whatever, but not anyone poor, and it won't be affordable. Or whatever.
What they're actually going to do is they're going to use the fucking AI to deny more people's health insurance claims. That's what they're actually going to do with it.
Sure.
And so it's like a combination. It's like you're lying about the trajectory of this, but also the trajectory of this is like alarmingly fast, and a lot of this stuff is advancing extremely quickly. And you know, if we're just like pushing forward with a straight up monopolization of the entire AI field in the US, then we're kind of cooked in the long run.
It sounds like in the short run, we're kind of cooked.
In the short run, yeah.
Because I was hoping that my goal was when I'm like old and dying, that like I'd start to see the really bad tech apocalypse or whatever. I was like, I don't want to be, I'm like,
no, it's happening in the prime of our lives.
I still want to see good movies and stuff like that. Like I want to like, anyways, like I think for the listeners, you can't think about it, I think, to a certain extent, because it's only going to be stopped when it like explodes or implodes and there's some sort of big unforeseeable event where everyone is reacting to it. And so in the meantime, it seems almost designed to stress people out. Like it's designed to be this like black cloud that's like fucking hovering all the time, every day when you hear about this bullshit or whatever. And I think I'm just going to not pay attention to it. I think that's my goal. Like, what else could you do other than stress out about it?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It is. What the fuck are we supposed to do? How do we push back against this kind of thing?
I think you push back by maybe hoping the robots kill their creators, kind of a Frankenstein situation, but maybe more thematic than that. But I mean, let's just say if it all does work how they say it's gonna work and everyone is out of a job, well, then there will be retribution. Like, these people aren't disappearing. Like, they're not all going to just be like fucking raptured, and something will happen really bad from that. And people will probably not lie down and take it completely, and then they'll have to deal with that. So the other thing I keep thinking about with all this is like Elon has always, and like he fucking says everything. You can't take him fucking, this guy is fucking at his word. I'll take him as far as I could throw him, which is I could probably get most of his body.
He's dense.
Lifted.
He's dense, man.
He's so dense. Oh my God. The density on that guy. He's not soluble. He's always said that he's like the epic kind of like boomer, like I watched Terminator, Skynet, like AI will destroy. That's like what I believe too. Like AI is like the greatest threat to humanity, is something that he said multiple times. What are we to take of that? Is other than he is doing a bunch of AI in China or whatever. So it's like, oh, he just wants to have the good AI. He's going to be the guy we trust with the AI.
That's the takeaway. He's the threat.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He was just predicting that sort of guys like him would become the threat to humanity.
But now someone else is being the threat, and he's kind of feeling a little cucked by that. He's like, I'm supposed to be the apocalypse, and Sam Altman.
Well, because all he has is Grok, and Grok is, what are we doing here?
All anyone has is Grok at this point. We all have Grok. But yeah, so I guess that's the Elon stuff. I mean, what else has Trump gotten up to this week that's upset people? I mean, they're talking a lot about these immigration raids. They're going to start doing ICE stuff. I mean, what's your take there? Are we about to empty the farms and the fucking the dish pits of America and have no more fucking restaurants? Like, what's your take on this? How far are they about to push all this?
I don't know, man. I mean, some people, like, you look at the polling data right now, right? And okay, they say mass deportation is popular, majority support, whatever. Okay, if one of the main reasons Trump got elected is because of high prices, low wages, et cetera, like, what do we think is going to happen if we start tossing out hundreds of thousands, millions of people from the country? What do we think is going to happen? And our entire immigration system is completely fucked to oblivion. But I feel like people just don't understand the reality of what Trump promised to do, what he's potentially going to do right now. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see a lot of, especially, like, I saw one video of a Trump voting farm owner who had like 4,000 acres of tomato farms or whatever.
Yeah.
And suddenly people aren't showing up to work because they're afraid of being raided by ICE, or they're fleeing the state, or they're trying to go to some other city or something. So I don't know, man. I mean, this is incredibly bleak. Not only is he doing the ICE raids, he also is trying to end birthright citizenship. He also removed the cap or the block on, like, churches and schools being safe zones for migrants. Like, just like the most aggressively demonic shit that you could imagine.
I feel like a lot of that shit's JD too. JD's like the real immigration hog. It's got all the,
it might be
ideas or whatever.
I think Trump thinks that he won purely because of immigration. And so he's going to lean into it as hard as he possibly can. It's going to be incredibly bleak. It's going to be dark. You're going to have, and I guess that sort of ties into the question we were asking before, like, about the resistance. Like, is there a renewed resistance effort once this shit really gets kicked off? Because if Democrats lean into this as well, then I don't know what you can possibly do about it.
Yeah, we will have to see who does show up to protest or whatever, or if there's even allowed to be protests at that point. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting questions about that. And I just, the sugar high is so high right now, but, like, if they do all these different things, there's no way the economy doesn't, like, fully crash, right? I mean,
I'm confused. I'm confused why the stock market hasn't reacted already to what he's saying he's going to do.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if you do start it's just a wombo combo of mass deportation and also blanket tariffs against, like, our largest trading partners. That's going to tank the economy 100%.
Yeah. And there's this big approval and energy high around, like, these issues and, like, around Trump. But I think it's so crazy because, like, Trump kind of won because I don't even think on any of those specific issues, but just, like, the Democrats were for a year running a campaign against their own party and people and smothering them in the dirt, and also walking around this really old guy and then replacing it with this really lame lady. And I think, like, that was, like, the issue more than any of, like, Trump's, like, random ass shit he would say on stage. Like,
so do you buy into the argument that, like, because Democrats didn't fight back on immigration, that's sort of why the polling switched on this?
I think they definitely, like, gave in on it and didn't really have an answer for it or whatever. And I mean, if you keep on if life continues to get worse, people are going to find it a reason why. People are going to gravitate to a reason why life continues to get worse. So outside of any messaging or anything you do on the issue, like stuff like this is going to just organically happen when people are trying to point it at someone else or whatever. So I really think that's more than anything what fucking happened.
And it's also like, I don't know if you saw that clip. I forget what the guy's name was, but it was like a top Democrat insider official or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was the good billionaires versus bad billionaires clip, where he was basically saying like, we're not going to take money from the bad billionaires. We're only going to take money from the good billionaires, whatever the fuck that means. I mean, a lot of these, like tying back into like the Sam Altman thing, like Sam Altman was a huge Dem supporter like 5 minutes ago. And then him and Mark Zuckerberg and all these other guys flip over to Trump because they know that's where power is. Okay, please don't regulate us. Please don't, come after us or whatever. But it's like, I mean, it's the same thing. It's like,
yeah. I'm not looking for good or bad billionaires. I'm looking for a baddie billionaire.
A baddie billionaire. We don't really have any baddie billionaires. They're all kind of...
Yeah, we don't. We don't really have any baddie ones.
But anyways, I think that ties into what you were saying, that, because Democrats are not willing to point out an enemy, namely billionaires, namely the wealthy, the oligarchy, whatever you want to call them, because they're not willing to do that, they open up the playing field for Republicans to come in and say, trans people are ruining your life. Immigrants are ruining your life. And there's no pushback on those issues as well. So of course the narrative is going to sort of end up where it is right now.
Yeah. It was always already annoying that they're going after trans people, because trans people are like the funniest people online right now. Like some of the best like writers and comedians and like just talented directors and stuff like that. Like there's like so much like cool ass shit coming from them. And so I was pissed about that, but now they're coming for my dish pit. They're coming for my restaurants. And as someone that loves to eat at restaurants, someone who's worked at restaurants, and and someone who loves the dish pit. I love the dish pit. It's an incredible
That was one of my first
place.
jobs. I worked in the dish pit.
Oh, dude, when I'm like, I'd love stacking that shit, fucking
stacking it, throw it through the machine, dude.
Oh my God. Everyone should do like a shift a week. It's like a form of yoga almost, right. I would pay. I mean, we're going to have people get in there. So people better get very familiar with the dish pit. Hey, whites, political interested whites listening to this show. You're about to learn about the dish pit. You're about to learn, about Rush Hour, about why there's no more spoons. Where'd the little spoons go? They're all in the trash. So the dish pit is an amazing place, and it is under attack, which does not feel America first to me. And so we'll have to see, where all that goes. Well, we were talking to Democrats a second ago. This article from the Daily Mail popped up that said, and listen, this is the Daily Mail, the number 1 news source, but they did say that the Kamala campaign is now blaming Doug for the loss. Doug Emhoff is now the culprit. That's why they lost.
He was too effeminate or something, or
his sneakers were atrocious.
Okay.
He would wear sneakers in a terrible way. His sneaker game was scuffed.
Right.
And yeah, maybe he held her back in some way. Maybe he wasn't based enough. I don't know.
Let's see what his sneaker game looked like. I'm trying to
he would wear
some pictures of this.
He's the kind of guy who would wear those Converses, like those kind of slip-on Converses with like suit pants and stuff like that. Like,
this is not great. I mean, it's not.
Toss
great.
it up.
I'm not gonna lie. Hold on. Let's pull this up here.
Let's do a little analysis here.
So, let's see if I can share this screen here.
Yeah, we're about to break this down.
So, I mean, this one. I can't even zoom in on this. That one's a little bit rough there.
Yeah.
The sit down sneakers. I mean, this one, he's a little matching here at least. There's a little matching going on, but
it is matching.
That one's also a little bit rough. The running up. Okay, here he is with the mask on. He's doing outside stairs.
Okay, that's why.
But that's shorts with sneakers, so that one's fine. The mask,
once he should have gotten that photo deleted from the internet. That right there is the poison pill in the Kamala campaign. What do we got here, sneaker wise?
Oh, here we got jeans with the brown belt, the blue T-shirt, and the white sneakers.
He needed a stylist, and
I mean, it's a bit rough. It is a bit rough.
I think
I see where they're coming from.
I think voters were incredibly repelled by this. I do think the Kamala campaign, who has been very smart and insightful, they made every right move. They didn't make a single mistake. And I think they're right here once again. I do think it was Doug. I think we have to drop Doug. I think Doug, I'm ready to cut Doug out of my heart. I'm ready to cut him out.
He was my main motivation for standing by Kamala for a while.
Right.
So, I'm heartbroken to learn about this, but we might have to chop him off here.
Yeah. Goodbye, Doug. Farewell, because we're going to need Kamala in 2028 to save this damn republic, right?
Yeah, she's got to run again. A Kamala Amy Klobuchar ticket, I think, is what the country is yearning for.
Oh, baby.
Maybe we could bring back Tim Kaine, actually. We could have a Kamala Tim Kaine ticket.
We could get membraned all over again.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, no hope there, especially after certain characters like our girl AOC worked so tirelessly for that ceasefire. She's tired now. She needs to rest. She needs to sleep for a century or two. And so, I guess she's still a celebrity. So, we'll see what happens with her whole deal or whatever. I know she's the most resistance right now. She's like, fuck Trump. Elon's a Nazi or whatever. She's pretty much the only Democrat loudly
She's going kind of hard right now. I mean, who else? Yeah. Who else is there for the next run? Like, are we going to end up with a Pete? Are we going to end up with I
haven't heard a fucking peep out of Pete.
He's been quiet.
He's been fucking quiet.
But that might be part of the strategy. That might be his sort of dark horse strategy again.
I do think it's important to maybe keep your head down right now. He's kind of doing my strategy of not paying attention to anything and hoping it all works out. Yeah. So the other big thing that has really gotten in people's craws are these January 6th pardons. The pardons. That's
the Patriots. The Patriot pardons.
Now, and listen, the pardons I'm no fan of the pardons, but the people that are all complaining on my Instagram about the pardons did not give a shit watching women and children slaughtered by the Democrats day after day on the phone and just pretending like it wasn't happening. And now they're like, 26 DUI drivers have been released from prison. Like, this is it. And I think liberals, you should be happy about these pardons. And I figured out why. Because I think the funniest possibility that could happen from Trump pardoning all these guys is that the next Trump assassin is a Gen 6er. That's my prediction.
Wow. That's a bold take.
That's my Barry Bonds. I'm calling the shot, but I think the next Trump assassin will be one of the people he pardoned from prison, and it will be funny enough to make everything worth it. Like, January 6th would have been worth it if one of them tries to assassinate Trump. Like, that would
what's your like explanation of the justification? Like, what's their motivation?
First of all, it seems like every assassin is a Trump guy.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Like,
well, you had a really big Ukraine lover who got in on the action, and then, but both of them were sort of like former Republicans or Trump adjacent people. But what's your take? Like, what is it, because he betrays them on?
Well, I don't even need to, it doesn't need to make sense logically for them to do it. Just like the last two guys. Like, the one guy, I guess, was mad about Ukraine. The other guy, I think his Cybertruck just didn't work or whatever. He didn't charge it. The battery exploded. I don't know what his deal was.
Well, and then there was the sniper, right?
And the sniper, right. And that's the guy that we don't know anything about.
That's Thomas Matthew Crooks, I think was his name. He was the young guy who, like, everybody who went to school with him or whatever said he was a conservative. He was like a former Trump guy. But he had a weird
Trump guys.
Right. They're all Trump guys. I mean, for the most part, yeah.
So it's like he's going to do something that triggers the brain area of the assassin that triggers them to go out and hunt or whatever. And I think there's no more likely place.
The guy, the horn guy, right? The guy who, the main dude who was waving the flags around and wearing the horns and had the fur on and everything. He got pardoned, and the first thing that he tweeted when he came out was, I went and I bought a bunch of guns, right? I need to go and get a bunch of guns. So What's he using those guns for? I don't know. I guess we'll get our answer.
It's like all of the Gen 6 guys are like posing on sloped roofs, just being like, here we go, Mr. President. We've got MAGA Granny here. Idaho woman who became known as MAGA Granny spent time in prison for her role on Jan 6, says she's rejecting Trump's pardon. I broke the law. I'm not a victim. The message is, if I took a pardon, that what I did that day was okay. I was wrong that day. Well, this is a Trump protector. You know, she would not be an assassin. I think she's
is Democrats' core constituency right here.
Gen 6ers that
the
are
person
in jail.
who stormed the Capitol,
yes,
regrets it, doesn't want a pardon because she's turned against Trump. This is what they need to run on.
MAGA Granny wants Doug Emhoff out.
Right.
She wanted Kamala. This was a Kamala voter. This is the number one Kamala voter. You're so fucking right. So she is in this interview shot, but maybe she's in jail. Maybe that's like an old photo or whatever. But she is taking responsibility. But I just want to say, liberals, have some hope. It could be, there are so many people that Trump is about to piss off. The idea of assassination attempts is been clearly out in the air for a while. I mean, if Thomas Matthew Crooks was a trans shooter, they would not have missed. They would not have missed
100%
if we had if they had been trans, but he was just unfortunately cis incel, which does not have the right aim.
Right.
It's a little bit of a sway. He's got a weapon sway.
There's an uncertainty to it. That's
there isn't. There is. So I guess that's the January 6th pardon stuff. And I mean, is there any other big, like, this week thing that you've caught your eye on?
Yeah, I mean, the big one I was maybe going to record about today was the bishop lady.
The bishop.
Just
listen, church
amazing.
And state shall not mix. Okay, so there was this bishop, and she is pretending to be God's warrior, but it's clear that she was sent by Satan to ruin President Donald Trump's day and insult him. This bishop, I mean, I don't know if we have a photo you can throw up. Or
here, I have the video. Do you want to just go ahead and watch a little bit of the video?
Yeah,
let's share screen. There we go.
Content warning.
Content warning. Demonic figure up on screen right now.
This is dark woke.
This.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
So there you go. What do you think about that, Griffin?
Well, this didn't show the sort of reaction cam from Trump and JD, but JD had a gun in his mouth, and and Trump there was smoke coming from him, billowing.
Here, we got the
we need a reaction shot here, because that is really the key, is them frowning. We got Rep Mike Collins here saying the person giving this sermon should be added to the deportation list. Let's deport the bishops. Let's do a full on attack on the clergy. Let's do it.
I mean, look at JD Vance here, just sort of squirming around. He's looking at his wife. His wife isn't really giving him. She's not looking at him. I mean, this is just amazing.
When the Grubhub order is late. Kind of face, that feeling when and so conservatives are saying this is a direct attack, that politics should never be mixed in churches. And it's like, guys, conservatives always complain about not having the culture. Churches is the main place that you guys have had getting your politics out. That's been your main platform. The mega church is incredible. You've done incredible things with the mega church. You are stolen from every poor constituent of yours, so you could put pastors on like the Peter Pan string so they can fly around the stage. You've done incredible things. That is your culture, and own it. Can we just have one? Can we get one? Just one thing for the liberal left in the churches?
Well, there's a lot of battles going on between like different sects of Christianity.
Okay.
There's like the sort of more, there's the more woke sector. There's like the Episcopals. There's
the
like
Pope is woke.
There's the Catholics. Yeah, they hate the Pope. The Pope is the Antichrist. The Pope is also Hamas.
Yes.
Let's remember that. The Pope is Hamas because he
I can't really think of anyone woker than Hamas.
Right. Yeah.
I think Hamas, I think woke, the reason that they cover their heads is to hide the blue hair.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's too easy to spot in Gaza.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was amazing. Like you were saying, like, this has been your whole shtick for the last like 40, 50 years is church and state. Sure. That's your whole thing, right? This is the big push on the pro-life agenda and whatever else. And then to piss and shit your pants the second that somebody brings up something that Jesus said. I mean, it's like, what are we doing here, guys? Do you want church and state? Do you not want church and state? I feel like they only want the parts of the Bible that are like the most aggressively horrifying, right? The most violent parts of the Bible.
Yeah, the parts with like the angels that have like 100 eyes.
That part, like that. They want the part of the Bible. This is
where
my
you
favorite.
Kill your son.
My favorite Bible story is God basically sends a bear to attack a bunch of children because they made fun of a bald guy, right? That's my favorite Bible story. That's the kind of
a very MAGA.
That's the kind of Bible that they want, right? They want the Bible where, you stone people, where you're treating women as second-class citizens, the pro-slavery parts of the Bible. Those are the parts that they want to keep core to their heart. The Jesus parts, not so much. Not so much.
They want they want that biblical version where when we make fun of Tim Pool, now a bear is going to attack us.
Right. That's what, that's the only part that Tim Pool has read so far.
If you get on my shoulders, we get bigger than the bear, right?
Yeah.
And then we can
scare him off.
We can keep on demasculating bald men
there you go.
As long as we want. Yeah. So lots of outrage, lots of keep your politics out of my church. And I'm just saying, just give us one little mega church just so we can get out there. Please do not censor us.
Well, I say keep the politics in the churches because it's not gonna go anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
You can be political. That's fine. Just fucking tax them. Just tax the shit out of these churches.
Whoa. Yeah.
That's my compromise there.
And I'm saying, just like the White House, get some YouTube plaques in the churches.
Yeah.
They should get on YouTube.
Joel Osteen has to have a YouTube plaque.
Yeah, he's got to be crushing on YouTube. Yeah. He definitely does. So, yeah, I mean, much respect to them in that hustle. I think that where would we deport her to? The Vatican?
Yeah.
Just like send all the bad people there?
Yeah.
So they're fighting the right battles, and all of it just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem built to last. It all seems like a wacky car, and people are going to start getting peeled off of it, just in the same way that Vivek has been shunted to the lowly. What is he running for now? Fucking state commissioner?
I think it's
governor.
No, I think Ohio governor. I think is what it is.
He's running for the janitor position. And so I don't know. It's like, maybe it's about having money, and maybe if you have enough money, like people like Elon can like be around as longer or whatever. But I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. What do you think about that? Like, are these characters going to last long in a way that they kind of didn't in the first term?
No, I mean, I feel something big coming on the horizon when it comes to Elon. I don't think the Elon-Trump alliance is going to last. The Elon thing,
you look at it and you're like, this guy is going to like overdose or
he's going to
drive off of a cliff, or like I've never seen someone sustain a lead up to a crash out for this.
Well, that's what the Vivek thing was. Is Vivek was like a temporary sacrificial lamb, let me throw him to the slaughter so that we can ease up on some of the annoying figures around Trump that he doesn't really like.
100p.
But at some point, he's going to crash out.
Yeah. 100p. And we'll all, and so so liberals, that's another thing to look forward to. I'm creating a list of things to look forward to. January 6th assassination. What was my second one? I don't even know. I'm trying to come up with a list here, guys. I'm trying to help you. Dish pits. Dish pits are great.
Dish pits, right.
There's a lot of things to look forward to in the
Elon
future.
crash out. It's going to be great.
Elon crash out. But you can't let it affect you day to day. You have to watch good TV. You have to watch good movies. You have to go outside and hang out with friends, because the internet now, there's zero fun to be had. There used to be fun. There used to be cool stuff. That's all over now. Everything that you see on your phone will hurt you psychically.
The other thing that's like sort of a temporary positive for now is that this is maybe the worst of it right now. Because if you remember, last time Trump was in power, and granted, like now he has a little bit more power consolidated, there's less resistance, et cetera, but like last time he was in office, his real major accomplishment was just a fucking tax cut. And that's, in all likelihood, what's his main focus going to be this time around? He's going to push forward with the mass deportations. That's going to be horrendous. But he's also just going to be pushing for deregulation, tax cuts for his wealthy buddies.
Right. That's
going to be sort of like the main thing. So, is this going to be like a complete societal collapse? Maybe 50, 60% chance of that. But he also might just sort of flop. And once he gets into the role of his administration and once it actually kicks off, it might slow down a bit. So I guess that's like my kind of positive outlook on it. Maybe it'll slow down a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. It could use a little bit of slowage. I wanted to end on something a little more fun. There's been so much going on with aliens that people don't care anymore. Like, I think if there ever are aliens, I'm going to see it on my timeline, and it's not going to be like, oh my God, that's an alien. I'm going to be like, that's fake. And I'm going to be like, that's fake for like 2 months until it's real. Like, it's not going to have that fun first moment anymore, right? There's not going to be that,
because people have already accepted it now. People are like, okay, we get it. There's aliens. Like, where are they at? Yeah. Show me where they're at.
Right. What I've got right here, there was an egg. There was an egg that came out, which got people talking again. Footage of an egg that was picked up. I'll play that in a second, but first we got our number one UFO congressman, outdoorsman, huntsman, Tim Burchett here, talking about his new theories. He's been a sort of a trailblazer here, which is unfortunate because I do believe in aliens, and the only people that share my belief are the biggest cranks I know. The most insane, outrageous people believe what I believe on this issue.
Sightings are over water.
Wait, Matt Gaetz has a show again? Wait, what is
the
this?
Matt Gaetz show? I've never even seen this.
That's the bigger story. I didn't even process this for a second.
Is this what he's doing now?
The Matt Gaetz show.
Matt Gaetz far right network. Apparently he has a whole network.
Oh my God.
Matt Gaetz. Oh, he's a show on One America News. It's One America News show.
I thought he was going to start a network called ASL.
Do you think there's anything to that and the basing concepts that you were laying out?
I do. When I've talked to people, or their sonar people, and the way they hide it from us, Matt, they say it's because our sonar, I believe, I haven't been briefed on this, I'm just from what I'm putting together, but we have some secret sonar. But what's so crazy about it, like we're hiding it from the Chinese. Well, heck, Matt, the Chinese sold us the components for it. They know it's in our sonar probably better than we do. But when they tell me something's moving at hundreds of miles an hour underwater, and our capabilities are, I don't think we have anything to do 40 miles an hour. And these things, this one was large as a football field underwater. Damn. And this was a documented case. And I have an admiral telling me this stuff. And it just, to me, yeah.
So that's where you think the bases are, is underwater then, because of those reports?
I do. I just think traveling.
And how old are the aliens? They under 25?
Light years.
What is the aliens' college major? What do they major in?
I think it happens. I think it's possible. the vastness of God's great universe. I mean, light years, the light from those stars that we see at night left there before the time of Christ. I mean, the vastness of God's great universe is unreal.
Wait, before the time of Christ?
Okay, wait. I got 2 questions here already.
Yeah, hit me.
So, number one, what's going on with the citing of the Bible and Christ? Like, how does this square up with the story in the Bible of? Because I'm pretty sure the Bible doesn't, account for aliens. I'm pretty sure that's sort of like.
Is that anti-Bible? Yeah, is that
it's anti-Bible. It's 100% anti, because we're supposed to be the only like intelligent creation of God.
Oh, intelligent design. Is that what that means?
Right. So he's talking about a different, even more intelligent species that exists out there. That's kind of that's a little bit anti-Christian. I don't know if I appreciate that from him.
We need a new edition written by Tim Burchett that includes the aliens in the Bible. I think that would be great. I think having one of the aliens at the big table would be nice.
Yeah.
You had the big disciple table.
He was hiding under the table. He was hidden by the little curtain, the tablecloth.
I would like a story about Noah getting 2 aliens on the ark. I think we could do a lot there, but I do like your gotcha. I like your gotcha question. If we
there's that one.
Tim on the
show, other thing is
we'll gotcha him with that.
Here's what I don't understand. Okay, why is it that every time, and I actually do believe in aliens, right? Sure. I had my own personal UFO experience.
That's right.
A few years ago back in college. Still no explanation for that. Mm-hmm. But what I don't understand is how come every time I'm hearing about some UFO story, the ship or the craft or whatever, well, not only that, but they're completely different. He just said this one was the size of a football field.
Right.
The other ones I see, okay.
Well, they're claiming that's the base. So
okay. So that's
and I have heard this also from the Navy Coast Guard outside New Jersey, that they said a similar thing, that it seems like there is what they call an underwater locker that releases the drones out from under the water. So that
I thought this was Iran. I thought somebody said this was Iran had their underwater bases in the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, I heard China. But I believe in Iran.
Somebody said Iran. Somebody said China.
Yeah.
I forget which Republican was saying that, but they were trying to convince me that there was some like secret underwater base that these New Jersey drones were being launched from.
Which I think is so cool, because like underwater is still such a big mystery. Like, before we like cure cancer, like, can we use AI to like find all the underwater bases and stuff? Like, that would be cool. Like, that would be the first good use of AI. I do think they're underwater because, I mean, if you remember, like, there's all these new crops over the last year or two of like sightings and moments, and they've all been a lot more annoying. I like the traditional ones that happened 3 or 4 years ago, where it was actual fucking pilots that saw stuff every day while they were working. That's like a nice normal one that I could like wrap my head around. Something is happening out there. But now you're right. It's like sometimes they're an egg, sometimes they're a triangle, sometimes they're this and that. And we're now at a place where I don't know what to believe because there's too much noise. And speaking of noise, we've got a new noisy video here that took the internet.
Oh, this is it.
Storms. This is the egg. And I love the News Nation music they put under this. It's so great.
So this is supposed to be a helicopter with a cable
trying to have sex with the egg.
Fucking the egg.
Fucking the egg with its helicopter dick. This is the
What's
egg.
What's going on here?
It's blacked.
So whose helicopter is this?
So this seems, they're claiming this is like part of the UAP retrieval team, which is like the whistleblowers are saying that's, part of what they do. There's a program that just picks them up and takes them to study them or try to replicate them or whatever. And so this is the egg, and then there's a
50-foot long line. We're told the craft is about 20 feet long. The egg suspended in a cradle. And look how careful the pilot is as they bring their precious cargo into land. Let's freeze frame here to look at one of the clearest images of a UAP ever taken.
Whoa.
This is no blurry light in a distant sky. The source of the footage...
This looks like an IKEA lamp. Like this.
Yeah, what's going on?
This is the least impressive, I think, unfortunately.
Putting themselves at incredible risk to record this UAP retrieval. Look at how perfectly smooth the craft is. No markings at all, and no visible means of propulsion or way to see inside.
I want to talk to the music supervisor for this show. They're putting too scary of music on this. It should be fun. It should be like like almost like comedic, like dun 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 dun.
I was very distracted by that guy's voice. He sounded a lot like my dad.
He's your dad is moonlighting as the News Nation crank. News Nation, you know, I have to give it up to them. They are the only ones on this beat, even though I don't believe a word they say. Like most.
Is this a Chris Cuomo production? Is this?
It's not Chris Cuomo. It's the other guy. They've got that British or whatever fucking accent that is guy, Australian. He's kind of their key guy that talks about the stuff on News Nation. So what is your take on the egg? What does that look like to you?
It looked delicious.
It looked delicious. I'd say yum yum yum.
Yum yum yum. Let me get a crack at that egg there.
Oh my god, to eat an alien egg. I mean, listen, there hasn't been any movies warning about that ever, about an alien egg. It's always worked out well in those films.
So I actually like I like the egg hypothesis more than I like the triangles and the other like ships that we've seen.
You have a shape
I think because like if I'm gonna buy in to the whole you know, they have like this gravity propulsion technology, and if I'm comparing it to the thing that I saw a few years ago, it was more of an egg than it was like a drone with arms and legs and, you know, sort of like a sharper. Oh, I'm pro egg. I think I'm fully bought into the egg hypothesis much more than the other ones. The other ones I think are like just US government tech or some shit like that. But yeah, I like the alien egg technology hypothesis.
Because also they were making a lot of hay about how these things were staying up in the air without giving off any heat signatures. That's kind of, there's an egg-like aspect to that perhaps as well. Like they're kind of hovering, just no clear propulsion.
Well, because if you think about it, like if you had a sharper ship, the reason for that would be you wanted aerodynamics, right? If you have an egg, that's because you don't need the aerodynamic aspect of it, right?
Because you're using space-time portals or whatever. But, you know, so I guess that's interesting. That's a theory. But there was another guy on 4chan, the egg leaker, the guy who originally leaked this footage, and he dropped audio of a conversation with the being. In this clip, the entity,
with the alien itself.
Yes, this is direct. So guys, get ready for this. Get ready. This is the moment where you hear an alien for the first time, I guess. I haven't actually heard this clip, so we're all going to hear it for the first time. And in this clip, the entity states that the egg is 3,000 years old and was made in Egypt.
Yes.
Fuck. Wait, where'd it go? There we go.
Okay.
And it's in Antarctica.
How old is the vessel, as you call it? You call it the vessel. We call it the hex. It was built by people 3,000 years ago.
Is that Benjamin Netanyahu?
It's the land was called Kemet. Where is Kemet? Hold on.
Wait. Okay, so let's go back for a second. So the entity says the egg was made back in a place called Hen. And he's like, what do you mean by Hen?
You once told Hen. Kemet. Hen. Where is
Hen?
Hold on.
This alien is very
That's
Israeli.
the alien. The guy who's just talking right there is supposed to be the alien.
Obviously the deeper voice is the alien from Judea, Samaria. Let's see, there's more.
Fuck's sake. Okay, here. And the phone. Where in the map is Kemet? The one that says Egypt. Oh, okay, Egypt. Okay, I see. Okay.
Oh yeah, Egypt.
It's old then. It's really old.
These aliens They sound.
I'm convinced. I
mean, here's what I like about the aliens. And again, another thing liberals to remain optimistic about, these aliens sound chill as fuck. Like they sound like they blaze. Like this alien was definitely kicked fucking back low in his chair. He was sipping on some scissor when he was talking about a fucking hen in Egypt. I mean, wow.
So was he talking to him from the egg? Or was this like he got out of the egg? Or
that's a good question. Was he communicating through the egg, sort of as like, and using the egg as the relay device to speak to the alien somewhere else? I always like that theory because for me, if I'm a high tech species, I don't want to make the trip myself. I'm just going to send a bunch of cameras there or whatever. Check it out. That's my TV. I'm clicking around the planets, being like, what's on TV? Oh, nothing's good.
Interdimensional cable kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, so Egypt, so the eggs came from Egypt, and I like that too because that immediately goes to show this is a fucking Redditor conspiracy bullshit because they're obsessed with making videos of how Egypt was built, like with giants and stuff. We've talked about this on the show.
I love those. The AI giant videos are my favorite thing.
They are the best. They are one of the only good things about the AI or whatever. Is it AI or do they just?
I think it's AI.
It looks it looks.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing about the ancient Egypt people. Is the claim that like we could never recreate the pyramids, like even with today's technology.
You think
I love that? Well, yeah. I mean, we can stack rocks together.
Yeah, people
like that's
always
not
tell
hard.
me that, and they tell me that about Stonehenge too. That it's literally.
Like, what are we talking about?
That's such a good point. Like everyone has always told me it's impossible to build Stonehenge with technology.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay.
Like we built like the Burj Khalifa. Like what are we talking about?
I just accepted that as fact.
No, we can stack, and there's actually I don't know if it's just on TikTok or if he has like a YouTube channel as well, but there's this guy who recreates how to move giant stones like that, and it's just like some 50-year-old dude in his backyard, and he's creating a bunch of like leverage points, and he'll move around like a 3,000-pound stone in his backyard by himself.
But at the end of every video, like a giant appears just for a second.
There's like a green screen. It like reveals the green screen, and there's actually a giant picking shit up. Yeah,
I like that. I want to live in a world where in ancient Egypt there was a bunch of barren Trumps just lumbering around. Like I think Baron is the last giant or whatever.
He's
like in Game of Thrones.
He's got the genes. Yeah,
we need to protect him because I was really sad when the last giant died in Game of Thrones. And I don't want to outlive Baron. I want to outlive Trump. I don't want to outlive Baron. I don't want to live in a world without Baron. Any hope for Baron? Baron clearly hates Elon.
I think he's a future dude. I think he's next up. I don't know. Did you see the video of him when Trump gave him a shout out at the inauguration?
Yeah.
He has the confidence. I don't know where it's coming from.
Right.
But he was standing up. He went to the crowd. He went like this.
Oh.
He was asking for more cheers.
Little hand.
Right. So he gave the little hand. I don't know, man. There's something weird as well with sort of like the kingship desire from a lot of MAGA.
Yes.
That they want to install some sort of like a royal bloodline. So if they're
100%.
successful on that, I could see it being Barron. It's going to skip right over Don Jr. and Eric. It's going straight to Barron.
They're also trying to hype up Kai Trump, but I think they're going to go way too horny overboard with that one and get themselves
in trouble. And isn't she like underage?
She's definitely underage. Yeah. And so they're going to step on they're going to shoot themselves in the foot on that one pretty quickly. I think that one's going to get a little uncomfy. They're going to push some lines on that one. He is tall enough to not be worried about earthly concerns, and we'll have to see where that energy goes, I guess, with Barron. But very tall and a gamer, and apparently behind Trump's podcast strategy.
Yeah,
like he pushed. I don't think Aiden Ross happens without Barron. You know.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. So there's some real dark energy coming from the whole family, though. Their walk into Trump's inauguration was it was a little bit scary. There was like a lot of like evil aura coming off of the walk-in there.
Yeah, very evil, very, very evil. And also like because Biden was such a shambling kind of corpse, it didn't feel like there was a president didn't really feel like there was like a presidential family that was like, and every time a hunter showed up to the White House, it was a scandal. So like, it has felt like there's been a long time since there's been a family, like kind of proudly at the White House or whatever like that. So, once again, thank you, Joe Biden. No, thank you to Doug Emhoff. And I think that's where we'll leave it today. I think we covered it all. I think we've covered everything. I think we've left people with a lot of hope and optimism. Of course, Mac, good politic guy on YouTube. I'm plugging you, but you have the way bigger audience. So to the 500 loyal soldiers on my channel, attack, invade the comment section on Good Politic Guy YouTube channel.
Go to war with my subscribers.
That's right. And I think we might start doing more midweek episodes. This was fun. So I guess keep on keeping on and look to the ocean. Look to the ocean and see what glows. I saw the TV glow under the ocean. Ooh, trans aliens? That's something.